Hello, everybody! Welcome. Welcome back to the Tabletop Tavern. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jenny. I am, in fact, an experienced streamer. I just don't understand how microphones work. I will be your dungeon master for the entirety of forever, for this campaign and all other future campaigns. So I hope you like me, because if you don't, you're stuck with me. I'm going to allow my beautiful, wonderful players to introduce themselves, beginning with the wonderful, the effervescent, the shiny today. You got like an opalescent quality to you. Victoria Shaz.
My name is Victoria, and I play Leon the Bell.
I'm Pippin, and I play Ariadne and Kylte.
And I play Gris Littlefoot.
And I just want to say, Victoria always gets all the compliments, so I'm going to allocate a couple to everyone else today. Pippin, you look incredibly handsome. I would love to hang out with you outside the soda shop, and then really bashfully ask you for a malt, but I'm sure you'd pay for it.
Don't specific.
You look as beautiful as ever. I don't know if you got a haircut or something, but something with your hair is really popping today. You're absolutely gorgeous. All right, hello. Sorry, I had to start off the session with
Jenny.
And you look hot as hell today.
You also look amazing.
Hey.
Mm-hmm.
Also, we love you and are grateful for you and your brain and all the time you put into
chat. Now is your chance.
It's campaign.
Give Jenny lots of compliments.
Yes, heard us.
Anyways.
I just like their chance to what? Chat, you're looking beautiful as ever. Last episode on the Tabletop Tavern, for those of you who were not here, the party entered the dream world using the special smokable substance known as fairy fern. Upon their arrival, they did discover the corpse of the goddess Tefine. However, they were met with a very unfortunate surprise. The consequences of Leon's actions, taking the form of 12 of the most brutal enemies the party has yet faced. After a quick and numerous brush with death, the party found themselves safely alone with just the body of Tefine and each other. That is where our story picks up. The gods and the ghosts of the gods have sort of dissipated on the wind after Leon banished them. And the three of you are faced with the body of what is presumably the goddess Tefine. She takes the form of a young, beautiful elven woman, wrapped in red strings that form a sort of clothing, covers up her more private bits, so to speak. She looks relatively unharmed, except for the fact that she is very obviously dead.
So I think the first thing, Leon's feet would probably touch the ground, and she'd immediately be panicked because she knows that she just hit her friends with magic. And so I feel like Leon would look at them and be like, "Are you both okay?" And then look at Gris and just Gris is hanging on by a thread, right?
Yeah.
I
think she's at 10 HP.
God, Gris, are you okay? And run over and just cast a third level Cure Wounds.
Gris is kind of sitting on the ground, and she slowly goes to stand up and kind of does the old lady back crack. You know what I'm talking about?
The one that I do as a 23-year-old woman. Yeah, I'm familiar.
Not to call you out, Jenny, but
you get 17 health back.
Okay, sweet, thanks.
Leon goes, "Oh my god, okay.
Leon,
so
did you know you could do that? The
few things to unpack here. Couple things that I want to let you all know of. Just a couple things. So, about an hour ago, maybe two. Well, you know when
Is this something you probably should have told us before we came in here?
Well, I didn't really have a chance, Ari. We were in a
We
bit of a rush.
We were conversing.
Spirit touching me. Okay, I was a little bit overwhelmed. I also didn't think anything was gonna happen. Okay, so right before Mung started haunting us, I was already awake.
Why?
Because I was woken up by a dream, and my father had consumed 6 of the pearls.
So when
In your
I told
dream?
you I also had an apparently prophetic nightmare last night, you just didn't think it was relevant to mention that perhaps you also got woken up
I
by
think I was
a
still locked in
strange
my room
omen of a
then.
nightmare.
I think you might have told Gris that.
No, we
were-
both told you that.
Oh,
You dragged us upstairs
there was a lot
to
going
talk
on.
about what just happened.
Right. Well, yes, okay, so I had a bad dream. I woke up. My dad had eaten 6 of the gods.
Oh, in your dream.
No, in real life. He had eaten 6 of the pearls.
How many pearls are there total?
Well, there were 18.
Were 18?
Why do you say
I-
were?
Consumed the final 10. Listen, this is the only way to keep it safe from my father. I know.
There are other ways, Leon!
How? He
Why do you-
reached through my dream into my bag of holding and consumed 6 gods. Do we want him to have them?
Okay, well, what if you weren't holding them? Well, your dad, like, I don't know.
You think he still wouldn't be able to access them? If they're
Maybe-
Apparently
inside
he
of
can
me,
access them anyway, since that's what Mung said.
not through me. That's the point. He consumed 6. I don't have access to the 6 he consumed.
So you've
He
consumed
does not have access to the 12.
10 plus 12.
From whatever he said, he has some kind of access to the 2 that we knew you had consumed.
He does not. Mung was wrong about that.
What
He
do you-
can speak to me in my head, but he does not have access to what I have consumed.
But do you have 12 different gods
Well,
Power?
I think that's why we were fighting all of those creatures today. I do believe those were the gods that I've consumed.
Gris like looks around at like
Those
the
were not-
battlefield.
Those were not dead god. Those were you consumed previously.
They are dead. That's how
They are now.
Well, I banished them. They were already dead.
Is that what happened? At
I
the
think
end?
So. I think that's what happened. I kind of commanded them to they have no hold over this plane anymore. Their
How
power
can you
that
command-
once was Well, I mean,
Maybe because she ate their souls.
well,
Gris.
Salune
Yeah.
Salune called me an overgod.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
I don't like the sound of it.
Neither do I, actually.
So you're telling me you,
Fought gods?
Ariadne,
Yeah.
Ariadne.
We've only known each other a few years.
This is
You're a horse now.
Session 45.
So you're telling me you, Ari, and I. Well, technically, you and Ari both died,
Yes.
and I almost died.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah, like properly died.
Mm-hmm.
because you ate 12 god pearls.
Yeah, you know what? I get why they were angry now. I get why they might have been a bit
It
hostile.
wasn't actually them. It was just the remnants of their power, or whatever version of
They
them
were
exists in the
pretty
dream
strong,
world. Yes,
so I'm
okay.
thinking it was them.
But it's not like it's not like I killed 12 gods. Well, maybe I have now, but it's not like I initially killed 12 gods.
It's also
And
not like
the
you
only
didn't
way
initially kill
that-
12 gods.
Listen, there are no more pearls.
Yes, I can do math, kind
And-
of.
Well, at the
I
very least,
have
I can stop
consumed-
worrying about the fact that you're just not going to tell us every time you eat a new pearl, because
Exactly.
now they're
I-
just all gone. So that's fine, I guess. I guess that's one less question that I have to ask you every morning.
Exactly.
Oh,
And I've consumed double the amount of pearls that my father has, which is good. It means he's not more powerful than me.
but is that how it works? Aren't some gods more powerful than other gods?
I've consumed both the sun and the moon, from what I understand.
You're the soon. I don't know. Why are we? Why? I just feel like we're constantly here to do one thing in hopes that we can solve this greater problem. And every single time, Leon, we end up in a much worse situation than we started.
Because we need to get rid of my father.
But why do you think that getting rid of your father the only way to do that is to consume these gods.
If I don't, he will, and then he will destroy Kraylin.
I just...
What he said
Why
to me
did
in
you
the
have to be
dream-
the one to consume them?
Yeah,
My
what if we
father.
divided them evenly? What
You have
if
no
we...
idea what that power is going to do to you. Or to us.
What's done is done. It won't do anything to both of you. That's why I did it.
And then what about...
Did you at the very least accomplish what we actually came here to accomplish?
Well, I haven't had the chance to try that yet. Maybe I should do that. And can I examine Tafine's body? Can I roll an Arcana check to see whether I can feel like where I need to let go of these souls? Like I don't know whether it's going to be where her body is or if it's going to be in Monk's Temple.
Give me a religion check.
Okay.
We're kind of on the opposite side of this island from Tafine, right? I think that's where we ended the battle, kind of.
24.
You did. So,
Yeah.
Leon, you will have to approach her body to see it. You sneeze like a kitten.
Yeah.
There's like nothing about you that's like
Even
not
a little bit.
yeah, like not perfect and adorable. Except Leon, you know, whatever.
In front of you on the floor.
Okay, so you got a 24 religion check?
Yeah, so I feel like as like I would walk towards her as kind of I'm rolling that.
All right, so you approach the body. Leon, you've lived up until about 6 months ago a very blessed life. No one around you has really died. You haven't really experienced all that much tragedy. You've been to a couple of funerals other than your grandmother's, and the majority of bodies, from what you know, have to be burned upon a pyre. From what you understand, this releases the spirit and all of its associated woes, etc., into the appropriate afterlife.
What does is Tafine's body on anything or is it on the ground?
It's just on the ground, but you do know it needs to be burned.
Mm-hmm. Does it have to be on a pyre or can it just be burned?
On a 24, I'm going to say that you understand that it just has to be burned with ceremonial intent.
Okay. Leon turns to Gris and Ari and says, I mean, if we think about the first time we met and the bodies being burned, that's what releases your soul when you die. And so I feel like because Tafine was a goddess, the souls of her followers will probably also be freed when she is burned. So I'm going to cast ceremony and burn her body.
Gris is gonna walk over to Tafine's body and next to Leon and kind of like look down, and you said she's like kind of wrapped in the red twine.
It's sort of bound around her chest and her torso in general, almost as if it is clothing.
Okay.
There are a few gaps where you can see her skin, but largely it's been sort of arranged in such a manner as to provide covering.
Gotcha. Okay.
It reminds you of almost the statue at Mung's temple when you first arrived.
Okay, perfect. She kind of looks down and she's like, so it's really Tafine.
It's Tafine. I can cast a funeral rite. I can do that.
Why do you... Well, I think
As
we
I
have to do
approach
something.
too, yeah, I do just want to like look at Tafine and then look at Vic and go, I mean, that's all well and good, but what about the others? You now have however many gods worth of souls to release, and we don't have the bodies for those.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that's my next steps. Maybe that's our next steps. Maybe I wait until another haunting hits me. I don't know. Did banishing them do the same trick? Did they have corporeal forms like Tafine?
I feel like banishing would just trap souls, wouldn't it?
Didn't I do that to them? In me?
Well, but now you can release
I
these souls
can't-
at least.
I can release Tafine's. I don't know how to release the others.
Okay, well, if you think burning her body is the way to go about it.
I mean, Ari, you're a monkey. Do you agree?
I mean, yes, but I just like turn around. I'm just like, just do what you're gonna have to do anyways. I'm not dealing with you right now. Just
So I'm gonna cast a first level ceremony and do a funeral rite.
Perfect.
And I'm gonna touch Tafine's forehead, I think. And as I kind of lean down and touch her, I want Leon to say, "I am sorry." Not that you can hear me, but I am sorry.
So from where your hand touches her forehead, you see silver and gold flames erupt. They consume the body incredibly quickly, and there is no terrible smell, nothing particularly horrid about this experience. Rather, it sort of drifts apart into millions of tiny, sparkling dust motes and flies up into the air with all of these beautiful, almost gemstone-colored flames. There's nothing left behind of the goddess except for a long piece of red twine. Leon, when you look down, you realize it is tied to your waist.
Oh.
And you hear in your head two voices. The first you recognize as your goblin friend.
Aw, you did okay, kid, in the end.
And the second, you've only heard once. At least in its young form. I am sorry about your fate, dear. There's nothing I could do to change it.
I got goosebumps.
From where the flames appeared, a small portal, about the size of the width of Leon's hips at their widest point, appears in the ground. You can see through the other end the sleeping form of Gris at the table at the cabin in the wildflower.
Should we go? Should we check on Mung's temple?
Well, I don't know if it's actually his temple, but it looks like his tree. We could. I mean,
I've done what I needed to do here.
Chris kind of watches the like dust and ashes that are still kind of falling into the sky, and kind of exhales a little bit, and she's like, you know, I didn't really know Tafine much as a god before all of this, but as a person, as the old woman who helped us, who really helped us in numerous occasions, she was wonderful. She gave us everything we needed. I feel like
Cryptically.
Well, but she also saved Galen's life.
Yes, that's true.
She, she gave me mushrooms, and I'm never going to be upset about that.
Honestly, I don't blame you.
I don't know.
Yeah, what she didn't really do is give us instructions, which is not very considerate to her followers.
Yeah. Wait,
Especially since she definitely knew what was going to happen.
Leon, do you feel any different? Do you still feel the souls? Did you feel the souls before? At least
I haven't done an internal check. Jenny, can I guess like kind of reach into myself and see if anything feels different? Can I feel the souls of the other gods that I consumed?
Roll a religion check, and then roll for me on the wild magic table. You're going to need anything other than a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5.
Isn't it just a 1 this time? Because
No. because there's been no long rest, babe. No rest at all.
I thought it was.
You
about to happen.
you just exited.
Well,
Oh wait, did it happen?
Yeah, it did. It happened right at the end, right as I was banishing them.
Oh, perfect. Then you're fine. It's a 1.
So that is a. What's my? That is a 19 for the religion. Okay, and that's an 8. We're good.
All right, so you reach inside yourself, and you can't feel the connection to the souls of any of Tafine's followers. It feels like they've been released.
Mm-hmm.
You're a little unclear if the gods that you banished still exist inside of you.
Okay.
It doesn't seem as if they themselves need to be released, though you do sense that there is an insurmountable responsibility that you have been burdened with. More than any one mortal can undertake.
Okay. Okay. Leon looks at Gris and says, everything kind of feels like me.
That's
I've got
good
the
then.
string. And Leon kind of like twirls it.
Your string?
Well, I mean, it's not my string. I think it's from Tafine. I don't really know. I mean, this dream form is horrific. I really want to get out of here.
Oh, okay.
Also, I'm really concerned about Ari and the...
Oh.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
like,
your
they
dream
did not-
form.
yeah. At least this didn't hurt. And I like pointed that. Do you know what hurt? And I pointed all the other probably like bumps and bruises that I got.
Yeah, fair.
Like, do you know what hurt? That.
Yes, you
That one
almost killed me, by the way,
For
Leo.
someone who complains so much about accidentally being hit,
I think when I try to use these new abilities that I have, I just don't think I have control over them fully yet.
So maybe do them a safe distance from your pals.
Usually I do. Most of the time I do. Also, that's the first time anything has happened. I was doing a big spell, though. You know, banishing 12 gods.
Well, I
guess
suppose
11.
that's a big feat if you
I would
think
say
about
it's
it.
kind of a big thing. All right,
Is it a good thing? Gris kind of nods and looks down at herself down below, and she's like, I mean, I'm just gonna jump, right?
Yeah.
And
You want me to go first? I can go first.
Gris shakes her head and just jumps a feet first down into the portal.
Ari?
I just like look back at Monk's Tree and then at Leon, and then just jump in.
Leon follows.
All right. You all awaken around the dining table of your sweet little home. When you fell asleep, there were 3 of you and a vulture at this table. When you awaken, the 4th chair at this table, intended for someone else entirely, is occupied. You blink the sleep out of your eyes and try to kind of refocus, so to speak, on who is with you. Before you can make any sense of what's happening or shake off the grogginess associated with the fairy fern, you hear a sweet, sultry, purring voice. Leon, darling, we really don't need you here. There's a snap, and Leon, you find yourself in a plane you only recognize from the briefest of glimpses when you enter it during Misty Step. The world is as you left it, but shrouded in a thick gray mist. Ari and Gris, you find yourself staring down a beautiful demon with bright pink skin, long pink hair, dressed in something that is certainly not appropriate for church or anywhere else. She bats her eyelashes at you, leans forward on her hands with her elbows on the table, and says, "So your friend's a liar."
I'm gonna like let my breath hitch, and like after like trying to pass that off, I'm just gonna go, I'm not gonna lie and say I've not wanted to do that before, but you should really bring her back.
Oh, she'll be back later, dear. I just need to have a conversation with the 2 of you. We haven't even been properly acquainted.
Gris is like jaw dropped, and like she immediately kind of like shuffles and stands up from the table, and she's like, "Why are you here? Where did you put Leon? Why are you here?" She's just kind of like, I don't. I'm sad. I'm concerned. I'm sad.
I'm gonna lean back and just be like, no, I'm not. You're not doing this in my home.
How did you get here? Weren't you? Didn't we fight you? Weren't you in Leon's head? How are you here?
Well, you ask so many questions, dear. Let's start with, is Leon okay? She's perfectly safe. She'll be back. She's just in a little time out. I don't know if you've noticed, but she's been a very naughty girl recently.
And here I thought you'd be thrilled by that.
Oh, darling, I just give people opportunities. What they choose to do with them is really up to them. Now, about why I'm here. I'm here for an opportunity. That's all I do, really. And you don't have to trust me. I'm not asking you to trust me. I'm just asking you to trust each other.
Well, I trust Ari, but I don't trust you at all. Not one bit, not even a smidgen. Not even. And Gris kind of like looks around and she's like kind of looking for like a piece of dirt or a small bug, and she's like, not even as much as a speck of dirt. I don't trust you.
You're wildly entertaining.
Well, you're not. Maybe you could leave.
Well, I could leave, but that would certainly doom you, wouldn't it?
Well,
What do you want?
guess we
Just
can get
just
one back.
stop with just what do you want?
Well, darling. Can I call you darling?
No, you may not.
All right, hot stuff. Here's the deal.
Gris looks at Ari.
That's not an improvement.
I know you two are prone to your own little escapades, but you're certainly not stupid. I'm sure you can see what's happening to your friend, can't you? You know what they say about absolute power, after all.
That it's bad.
That it corrupts, Gris. Which
Power
did
and I
you
are
come up
good
with that
friends.
phrase, by the way? Like, is that just some sort of pat on the back for you?
Oh, no, not even close, darling. People just are obsessed with me. I give them what they want. It's not my problem what they choose to do with it. But listen here, and listen good, because I'm giving you this opportunity once, and once only. If you reject it, you will lose your friend and the world you've come to know. So you better listen carefully. Are you listening? Now, you said earlier that you don't trust me, and that's well and good, but if you don't trust me, you, hot stuff, will once again be unable to save the girl you love.
Willie.
Is that a threat?
Oh no, darling. Your friend is not the only one capable of seeing the future. And you, little one, wouldn't it be a shame to watch your town burn and the man you love stay behind?
I can't do it. I can't.
I'm giving you the opportunity to change not your fates, but the fates of those around you. I know you both. You're so self-sacrificing, so kind. I'm giving you the opportunity to act on that rather than just reprimand someone who doesn't want to listen.
Gris like looks at Ari and then back at Corruption, and then she kind of like leans forward on the table and she's like, "So then, what's the catch?"
I hold up a hand at Gris and I go, why would you want to?
Why would I want to?
Why, if you're the one if you're in the passenger seat, why would you help us derail what you've been trying so hard to get Leon to do?
Here's the thing, darling. It's getting a little crowded in Leon's head. It's hard to tell who's pulling the strings anymore at all. I'd rather hedge my bets with people a little more predictable.
So you want in our heads to control us?
No, darling, no. I've got far too many at my beck and call already. I am just offering you a chance, an opportunity to take some of the weight off of your friend's shoulders.
Fair enough.
Listening.
All right, well, I assume both of you are capable of simple math, simple as you may be. So,
if you've been around in Leon's head, that's quite an assumption to make. But I take your point.
yes, well, you know what they say about birds of a feather. The unintelligent tend to flock together. Now, as we all know, your friend Leon has something of an insatiable appetite for power. Now, she can give you any excuse she wants, but we all know her real motivations lie elsewhere. Right?
You mean aside from trying to defeat her father?
Oh, come on. I'm just giving voice to the doubts you've had for months now, dear. Am I not?
Well, I mean, a little bit, yeah.
A little bit? What about you, hot stuff?
I'm still waiting for the opportunity, because so far, yes, you just told us what we already know.
All right, well, here's the deal. And I'll talk to the little one, as she seems a little more friendly than you do. Little one, what's your name?
Chris.
Gris, you know, I've always loved halflings. I left my only daughter with halflings. They did all right. She's a little goody two-shoes for my taste. She could really use her feminine wiles more provocatively than she does, but neither here nor there. Halfling, Gris, if I may. Your friend has eaten 12 gods, correct?
Yes.
Last we heard.
All right, now tell me what 12 divided by 3 is.
4?
What? Where are you going with this?
You want to deposit the gods to me and Ariadne?
Say I were to give you a ceremony that would equally divide the burden your friend is tasked with between the 3 of you.
I just look over at Gris.
What if we made that power a little less absolute,
But how does this benefit you? Someone doesn't have more power than you?
How this benefits me is this. Leon and her father both represent threats to the status quo. I may not like the gods. I may not get along with them. But things in hell will get a lot more crowded if Miss Goody Two-Shoes is snapping her fingers and sending whoever she wants down below. And her father, well...
Here I thought you were in bed with him, in more ways than one.
Darling, you don't have to like someone to sleep with them. I know you don't know anything about that. Hopeless romantics are so boring. Aren't you sick and tired of having your heart broken?
Not particularly.
Ah,
well. I just give a sly smile.
Here I was thinking
you're not
going to
get that from me.
Enjoy saving the girls you love. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you like watching them die.
Don't say such a thing, corruption.
I'm sorry, darling. Do you want the demon to play nice?
Yeah, I hold my hand out at Gris, and I'm like, she's just trying to get under your skin. Stop letting her.
It's working, and I don't like it.
I just like pat Gris's back.
It's just kind of Gris is like slowly like kind of crumbling into herself a little bit. Like she's not. I don't think she's ever dealt with anyone like corruption before. Like nobody on that level, and so she's got no way to like. No point of reference for how to handle this conversation. So she's definitely kind of crumpling in and letting Ari take the lead here.
Okay. At that, I just sort of I go ahead and I like sigh and I like just like put my hand on the edge of the table and I'm like, fair enough. Had she consulted us at all, it might have been a solution we came to. But since she didn't, how would that even work? Not only why would you do that for us? But you seem to know more about this than either Leon or us or Mung did.
Well, darling, Mung may have been old, but he's not nearly as old as yours truly. I did have some work done, and by that I mean I'm a demon. I don't age.
And here you don't look as well as you could for your age.
Oh, darling.
Well, your daughter does look better.
Yes, well, she has my DNA, and you're certainly not one to talk about the ravages of aging, dear. I'm sure you were quite mediocre looking in your youth, and now you're, well, frumpy. Now, I can be kind to you and give you the solution, or I can throw it at you with no explanation at all, and you can just go ahead and doom your friend to a worse fate than she could have, and doom your loves, your homes, to burn with your friend's wrath.
Gris kind of squints at her and turns to Ariadne and is just like looking them in the face and is like, am I frumpy?
I just turned to her and I just like put a hand on her cheek and I'm just like, first of all, no, you're beautiful and Reese loves you. And I turn back to corruption and like raise my voice from the whisper, and I just go, I can be courteous and nothing more.
All right, darling. Then listen closely. How familiar are you with binding ceremonies?
Like marriage?
Sort of, if marriage involved a blood pact and fire.
A blood pact?
Oh, darling, just to each other, not to me. Don't worry, you're really not my type. I've had enough of sassy warlocks. I've got more than one on my hands right now.
Okay, so to each other, meaning me and Ari and Leon.
Exactly, dear.
And we would split the power of the gods between the three of us.
Precisely.
Which would potentially doom all three of us?
Not exactly. After all, that one over there knows they're already doomed. Don't you? As they say, my dear, to die by a friend's sword is to die 10,000 deaths.
Yes, well, I'm quite the proponent of free will, unfortunately. So I don't really buy into all that. And you can probably tell I'm lying, but it's just like, nah.
Yes,
Wait.
of course, dear. Yes. We
So
all
you're-
know you trust Leon so greatly.
Oh, then you really are out of the loop, my love.
Oh, darling, it seems both of us are well versed in sarcasm, aren't we?
I would say so, yeah. Okay, so question. You said that if we do this,
Yes.
my village will not burn.
Hmm.
And Ari will not lose their love. But you had a dream, Ari. A prophetic
Yes.
dream.
That and according to her, Mung doesn't know at all. But I had quite the feeling that he knew about this. And yes, I imagine that if something isn't done, then I may spare myself pain, but I will be causing it to Lily.
But see, in my dream, my village burned either way.
Then
Well-
what? Then I turn to corruption. I go, that's a good point. What makes you think this will change what's meant to be, quote, like air quotes, fated?
Darling, it will simply revert back to what should happen. Your friend is playing with the strings all the time. And she's got that pair of scissors right over yours regardless. The question is whether or not she turns it on your love, too.
Ari, did Leon ever look at your strings?
No. And, well, maybe she has, but she hasn't told me because I told her not to.
All right, meanwhile, in the liminal space between planes,
Can
Leon?
I misty step back?
you are unable to do so. It appears that you cannot access any powers that were granted to you by any pact
Okay.
with any sort of demonic entity, whoever she may be.
But
He or she or they.
isn't Misty Step my paladin a skill that I got from being a paladin?
Yes, unfortunately,
Oh, no,
you have been banished to a. I believe it's a warlock spell, though.
No,
You're
I got
in
it
like
from being
a.
paladin. It says paladin.
You are trapped in a plane that you have to be released from by whatever force sent you there.
Do I see anything?
You're in timeout.
It looks like the house, but everything is shrouded in mist.
Can I
Your friends
hear
are
anything?
frozen in place.
Oh. Can I try to message one of them?
Yeah, you can try.
Leon
Let's
casts
have
natural-
an Arcana check. We're going to
Okay.
call this a DC 25.
I might be able to do that.
I was like, can you do that? Is it possible?
It's possible, folks. I gotta. Okay. I need some heavy fingers crossed. What do I need to roll? Did you say Arcana?
Yeah.
That's a 25.
All right, let me roll a quick d4.
Oh
You
my
cannot
God.
choose who you message. You can merely
That's
send
fine.
a message
Okay.
out into the void.
I just want to really say thank you to the full moon the other night.
For charging your
The
crystal
moon you
dice.
ate?
Big shout out to the full moon. You may have fucked me and almost killed Gris last week, but
Okay,
Okay,
Leon,
Lisa.
send your message, and then I will tell you who receives it.
Leon says, I don't know what she did to me, and I can't get out. But you know she's dangerous. And she is lying to you.
Oh God, your friend is such a flatterer, you know. She said to tell you that I'm dangerous, and I'm lying to you. But here's the thing, darlings. Which one of us lies more? Me or your friend? When have I lied to you? I feel I've always been truthful. I told you the woman you call B is my daughter. Your friend will kill you. She's been lying to you. This spell will cure Marius. It seems to me I have always told you the truth. But someone else loves to spin lies. Seems
Up
she just
until
doesn't like
now.
being trapped in her own cocoon.
Up until now, we'd been under the impression that that was your influence. But since that obviously isn't necessarily the case, how would you even get her on board with this?
Oh, darling, that's not my job. That's your job.
So you're telling us if we decide to do this, we have to convince Leon?
Yes.
Well, then we're just not going to do it, right, Ari? Like, it's not going to happen.
Or, I suppose, someone could give those strings in her head a little tug.
So you can control her.
I can't control her. I can just...
Can anyone control her, Chris?
I mean, fair point. Maybe Marius on a good day.
I could perhaps tell her that what her father wants most of all is for her to have all that power. After all, someone else already gave her the wrong idea about who has access to what in her head. I could just further that little misconception.
Wait,
Oh, your daddy, he's got access to every pearl you swallow.
does he?
No,
Oh.
he's powerful, but I mean, he's a god technically now, but he's...
You scoff as if that isn't well within the realm of possibilities of our last few months.
Well, clearly you're not well versed in the arcane arts, darling. It's not your fault. You've been studying scrolls and kissing beautiful women. Who can blame you?
So, how is us taking these gods going to stop anything from happening? How do you know it's going to stop anything from happening?
When you reduce the amount of power your friend has, you reduce her power to change the world.
Or at the very least, there's only one last label to deal with.
Yes, and at the very least, if, say, you stand on opposite ends of a battlefield, perhaps death won't be in vain. You know, as I said, your friend isn't the only one who can catch glimpses of the future, and frankly, it would be a shame if the cult of the fallen soldier has no one to worship.
I just turn and I look at Chris, and I squeeze her shoulder, right? Because now you're still sort of just next to me. You've just been hanging out. And I just go, it's not as though she's going to do the right thing for herself or us or the world. Otherwise.
I'm okay, but I just don't understand how this impacts anything other than Leon has slightly less power.
And you have slightly more.
I'm not
Who's the better
talking to
decision
you.
maker?
I'm not talking to you. Can you give us a moment, please?
I am so proud of you.
Corruption's straight up just like staring at you two and like with her head on her hands like I'm giving you a moment.
Chris is like hand blinders up, like looking at Ariadne. Like doesn't want to see corruption, doesn't want to hear anything from them. And she's like, okay, so listen. I'm assuming that eating 12 gods is not a good thing for anybody. And being, what was it, an over god? Can't be a super positive thing.
I'm just saying, with the path that Leon seems to have chosen for herself, Gris, I'm not certain her dad is our biggest worry anymore.
Well,
I let my voice tremble at her, and I squeeze her tighter.
Well, I kind of think Leon might be our biggest problem.
Then at the very least, even if it doesn't change anything, are you okay with not doing anything to try and stop that?
Well, no, of course not. I just...
Because I can't fight her. If Mung's right, I die trying. Could you?
No, and in my dream, I'm burying someone.
I think we might need all the help we can get. And I make a little look of disgust, side eye at Corruption.
Corruption shoots you a wink and blows a kiss.
Gris once again is like, oh. And so she just kind of she just rubs her temples for a moment. And she's like, are you really willing to lose everything, potentially? If we take in these gods? I don't know what it means for us.
Apparently, we might be doing that anyway. And if there are any gods left, may they forgive us.
Meanwhile, on the liminal space between planes...
Can Leon hear anything?
Leon, you cannot hear anything. Your friends are frozen in place. You can see Corruption resting her head, her chin on her hand. However, you hear the front door to the cabin open.
Leon looks to the front door.
Standing in the doorway is a middle-aged elven man.
Me.
He is spattered with golden blood. On his shoulders he wears warrior's armor, and on his head sits a helm made of solid pewter.
Father?
Leon, you're looking trapped.
Are you here to free me?
I thought you were planning to take me down. That would simply be stupid.
Here I thought you would do one fatherly thing for me, maybe.
Oh, darling, I let you eat those pearls, didn't I?
Did you let me? Thank
Well, you know, a father has to allow his child to make their own mistakes.
Right. Wouldn't necessarily call you a father, but, we will.
Well,
What
I mean,
is
I
going
had
on?
sex with your mother and she gave birth to you. Did
No,
she never explain that to
no,
you? Are you
believe it
aware
or
that's...
not, I am aware of that. Yeah, believe it or not, I am aware of that. Listen, what is going on?
What do you mean?
What is Corruption doing? Why are you two in cahoots?
Oh, we're
What
not in
haven't
cahoots.
you told me? I mean, when you were, what was it? Timothy?
Oh.
The bartender or whatever?
Listen.
Or was, you told me that there was going to be a time where you would tell me everything that was going on. Now's that
I
time.
will. Now is not the time. You are impatient. Has anyone ever told you you're impatient?
I really don't think I'm impatient.
You're impatient, you're impulsive. It's It's funny, I would have considered you a threat some time ago.
Oh, but not anymore.
Well, I mean, I suppose. Many are afraid of the lizard who swallows the sun, but I frankly couldn't be any prouder.
Why? What? If you could have eaten all of the gods, why didn't you?
Well, it's not my place, is it? I reap what I sow. But that doesn't mean I control it.
So what are you saying is going to happen to me? Do you know?
Oh, darling. Exactly what I've always intended to happen to you.
Which is what?
You'll see.
Helpful, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Can you get me out of here? I can't misty step.
That sounds like your own problem, dear. One would think an overgod knows how to handle that kind of thing.
One would think, but nobody gave me the guidelines. Do you
Oh,
have
I
them?
know.
Maybe written down. I could read them on the way back to Alis.
Well, the first step would be having an immortal body, and unfortunately, you don't have that, so...
How do you get that? Actually, I don't want that.
Well, you shouldn't have eaten all the gods then, darling, because you have two choices. Either be overwhelmed with the power you've consumed and fade away, or revoke your mortal flesh for something a little more comfortable for the life you've chosen. This was your choice, Leon. Your choice to be more powerful than me.
Do I just choose to have an immortal body? How does that work? Do I just
Leon-
snap my fingers and it happens?
You seem to believe everything boils down to choice. I assure you it does not. You'll figure things out for yourself. You are a fairly smart and capable. Meanwhile, on the mortal plane, Ari hopes the gods will forgive them. Leon, on the immaterial plane, has just watched her father disappear into ephemeral mist before her very eyes. You don't know this, of course. You are staring down Corruption, who is dressed in basically just leather straps wrapped around various parts of her body in a poorly executed attempt to preserve whatever little modesty she has left.
Gris looks away from Ari and crosses her arms once again and looks at Corruption. And she says, "Will you bring Leon back first so we can talk to her?"
Oh, darling, of course. You need all three of you to complete the ceremony. Here is the thing, though.
Okay.
Leon and I are at something akin to an impasse. I'd rather not be here when she returns.
Well, I'm glad to know she's not completely just in cahoots with you, apparently.
Oh, darling. You think I am a bigger problem than she is? Morality is a spectrum, and yes, I may fall to one side of gray, but I assure you, your friend has moved further that direction than I have. She is no longer the woman you once knew. I hope you realize that. And this ceremony is the only chance you have at getting that woman back in the slightest. Wouldn't it be a shame for her to arrive to her wedding unrecognizable to the man who loves her?
I like look at Gris too, and I just go, well, he'd never forgive us.
No.
But then I also just go,
Well, and somebody
if we trust, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, so doesn't somebody have to consume a god's pearl after they are over anyways? Isn't that the whole point of the pearl?
Nobody
I think
said
this
it
is
has
a
to be
different-
consumed,
Mhm.
darling.
Oh, okay.
But that doesn't have anything to do with this or that. This is transferring an equal proportion of your friend's burden onto your own shoulders.
I'm just worried about what it does for my soul and
Your
how
soul.
and how this impacts my god, who, by the way, I do believe Leon ate.
And we subsequently killed and or banished and or just
mhm.
messed him up.
I
Yes,
literally
well-
had to fight my own god.
Sylvanas was no fun at all, darling, all that hippy-dippy bullshit, but
Turtles, what are you talking about?
let me explain to you how this works. When you transfer the power of the god's powers choose. They are divided equally, but they choose the vessel they are best suited to.
Fine, it's fine. I think we'll do it. I'll do
And
it.
will imbue you with certain benefits accordingly. Now, I didn't want to make this about what benefit it might have to you, because obviously you two are self-righteous. You want to help your friend, you want to save the world, you want to get the girl, or save the husband you've loved since you were a child. That's all well and good, but...
And what fun would you have if we didn't?
Well, darling,
Or if we did.
you're not the main characters of this story. I can manipulate whoever I want, and I am. I have my fingers in everything, dear.
That seems unhygienic.
Oh, darling, I wash well.
It's kind of like does that thing where you like size someone up by like looking up and down them, like very obviously, and she just kind of like,
Oh, darling, do you like what you see?
absolutely not.
I can tell you're lying, darling. You're married, not dead. Yet.
How could I like someone who thinks I'm frumpy? I'm so much more than that.
Darling, frumpy is just an outwards appearance.
Exactly. Gris kind of once again does the old lady stretch like, and then she like looks at Ari and is just like, "I'll do it. Will you?"
I mean, maybe Mung was right. You know, I'm gonna trust his fortune over over Leon's any day.
Well,
All right, darlings. Then, if that is your decision, I suppose, despite your rudeness, I will be kind enough to provide you with the components of your spell.
so you're not actually gonna do it. We have to do a spell.
I expect we
Yes,
have
darling.
to. We also have to get Leon to
Ugh, okay.
Here you
This
go,
is like, how
darlings.
gracious of you.
She sort of like conjures from the air a long, sort of fat candle and sets it in the middle of the table. When it comes time, you will take this candle and you will wrap it with a shred of clothing from each of your bodies. You will then light the candle, prick your fingers, and allow a drop of each of your blood, no more than a drop is necessary, I promise, to drip into the flame. Allow the candle to burn down to its barest of wicks, and you will find yourself burdened with some percentage of your friend's power. And
Wait.
perhaps the ability to save those you love.
So what is the actual blood pact then? What kind of pact is this? Other
This
than
is
just
a
splitting.
blood pact of binding. It binds together your power, but also your fates, which I have come to believe have already been bound together regardless. Of course, it does subvert your friend's plans. I'm sure she won't be very happy.
Oh no, but I think she's lost the right to not include us in her plans.
I suppose that's fair, darling. She sure does love... What did you call them, Miss Gris? Lies of omission?
Yes, lies of omission are still lies, corruption. I'm sure you know
Well,
that.
those seem to be her favorite, and all I'm saying, dears, is that someone who is not entirely honest with you doesn't necessarily deserve your honesty. Watch her backs. You'll never know whose sword might wind up in them. She snaps her fingers and vanishes into a fiery haze. The room smells like an odd mixture of the most provocative, heavy jasmine perfume you can imagine and sulfur. Leon,
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry. Go for it.
I was just gonna say, I just like let all the breath like leave my body, and I just like slunk back into my chair. I'm like, I need a drink.
Leon, you are still trapped on this sort of ethereal plane, but you can see the mist begin to clear, and as it does, corruption appears before you. You'll have a choice to make, my dear. We'll see just how successful I've been in pulling your strings.
Tired.
Of what, darling?
Just
Yeah.
manipulating people.
Darling, I'm corruption. It's my
Right.
whole thing.
You take vacations?
Darling, you'll soon learn. The immortal can't take vacations. And she, like, leans in, kisses you on the cheek, and where she kisses you, it burns a little bit, leaving behind a scorch mark in the shape of her lips. I'll talk to you soon, dear. After
Please don't.
all, I am your patron. And vanishes sort of, like, into the mist. You find yourself seated back at the table with Ariadne and Gris sitting across from you.
Well, that was fun.
Are you okay?
The better question. Are you both okay? She's a force to be reckoned with, and I've learned how to deal with her since she lives in my head rent-free. But she's a lot, and she's very good at what she does.
Yes, I think we have a prime example of
Leon's
that.
got her hands on the table, like, what happened?
Gris looks at Ari.
Yeah, she's like, exactly.
And she just takes a deep breath and looks at Leon
Uh-huh.
and says, "Could you maybe look at our strings one more time?"
I'll look at yours. I don't want to do it without Ari's permission. Ari's been very clear. I haven't looked at Ari's strings. Ari, you asked me not to. If you want me to, I will.
I don't want you to, but you do have to.
Okay. And then Leon will start with Gris, and she's gonna look at Gris's strings.
All right. Gris's strings. There are dozens attached to her. She has tied herself to many people in her life. It seems that she has loved with abundance and willingly given parts of her fate to other people. One of the strongest strings appears to be tied towards or leading towards Ariadne, indicating that her fate is inextricably wrapped up in theirs. However, the string of a life, the life fate string, is long, not fraying, strong. You can see it reaching far before her. Gris, it appears, has much life left to live. There is even a string that connects her to you. She has allowed herself to love you, and because of that, that seems to be the thing that ties Gris to other people.
Leon looks at Gris and says, Your life string, I can't even see the end.
So it's the same as last time.
And you are connected strongly. You're connected strongly to Ari. You're connected to me. Your strings are fine. Did
They haven't-
corruption tell you otherwise?
They haven't changed at all. Not even a little bit.
Strong. It's not a string, it's like a rope.
Okay.
You are like a rock. Like, what did corruption say something bad was going to happen to you? I don't
Not to
think
her.
she can tell the future.
Well, corruption didn't say something bad was going to happen to me, but Mung did. If you remember that.
I mean, he only knew what
Safine knew.
Tafine told him, but I mean, I'm looking at your strings. I'm seeing that you have a long, long life ahead of you.
I might have a long life, but does that mean that everybody else does?
Well, and then Leon turns to Ari.
All right. Ariadne is connected to people by 3 strings. 2 are fraying. The third is loose, as if whoever it was tied to, they have cut ties with.
Mhm.
It looks as if it's been cut. You can't tell by whom, but it does float gently in your direction, as if it was the string that tied their fate to yours. The string that ties them to Gris, the one Gris's end is strong, is fraying too. And you think this might be related to their life fate string. It stands before you, long, hold taut. But the longer you look at it, it begins to fray, and you can feel some kind of ephemeral version of yourself, almost as if an out-of-body experience is occurring right in front of your very eyes. Reach out and cut it short, very close to their body. If you had any skill in interpreting what this means, you'd believe that Ari has less than 2 weeks left to live. Maybe 12 days, 13.
Leon says, "Oh, Ari,
Is it not good?
do you want
Someone
to
was
know?
right.
Do you want to know?
What was the point in asking you to
No.
look?
Ari, I need to know if you want to know.
Yes. And I need you to tell me the truth, by the way.
I'm telling you, if I could do that, I wouldn't lie to you. Not about this. Your life string is short. It's really short.
Okay. That explains the dream form!
Very, very short, Ari, like short.
You keep saying short as if it's
I
gonna
don't-
make that any
I
better.
don't know how else to describe it.
Can
Like
you
I'm
tell-
about to drop dead of a heart attack short,
Yeah,
or
like now short, tomorrow short.
No.
or like, oh, we have, we fought gods, but maybe we have to fight more, your dad, whatever that is.
Like maybe 2 weeks.
That's specific.
That's the vibe I got. But I could be
Okay.
wrong, and it could
Well.
change. I can check periodically if you'd like. It can change.
So maybe we need it to change. And Gris has like tears welling in
Yeah.
her eyes, and she's kind of shaking a little bit.
And
Obviously,
we might, yeah.
more impacted by Ari's threats than her own. And she just looks at Ari and she's like, if you only have 2 weeks, we gotta do everything we can.
Can I look at my own strings?
Yeah, you can look at Leon's strings.
I would like to look at my own strings.
Okay. Leon, you take a brief moment to look down. The red strings of fate connect you to people. You see quite a few connections. One to Gris. Ari's, as I said earlier, appears to have been severed. The one between you and Gris is beginning to fray and stretch tight, as if soon that connection will too be lost. There's one golden string. You see this as a string based off of the fate of another person as well, that extends somewhere far beyond your vision, presumably to someone much further away than within eyesight. There is another string. You recognize it as your life string, that extends outwards, wraps itself around your friends, around Ari's neck, around Gris' arm, reaches out to the doorway and disappears into the night.
Leon kind of puts her head in her hands and is like, I mean, I don't know.
Well,
You said the strings could change.
What if you
We-
just stayed here?
Apparently,
What if you just never left here again, and then you'd be fine?
No,
somehow
no.
I don't think that would work.
I think it
We
would.
have no.
Believe
We
me,
have.
do you think I would, if I have 2 weeks, do you think I would rather spend it chasing after your cleaning up the latest of your messes, or do you think I'd rather spend it with Lily? But no, I'd rather have a much longer life.
Right.
So,
Well,
we
what I'm
may
saying-
have
what if you have
a way to
something-
change it. You say we can change it. We may have a way to change it. But do you know what that depends on? That depends on you wanting to change
you
my
got
my
this
life
idea
stream.
from corruption, didn't you?
We got 2 options for corruption, Leon.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to tell you which one corruption wanted us to take. We're just
Uh-huh.
going to tell you the one we've chosen.
Right.
And I see the look
And
on
for
your
once,
face.
could you trust us to think
Can
that
but
maybe
you-
we know what's right?
tell that Gris is lying?
Nope. From what Gris is not lying. Gris is telling
Yeah.
you the
I'm
truth.
telling you
She's
the
not gonna
truth.
tell you.
Oh, there were 2 options?
Of course there were. It's a decision that has to be made.
Oh, I thought you were saying that like there were 2 things that she told you to do. I was like, that's a lie. Leon thought that.
No.
Her perception
Gris-
split anyways.
Gris like wipes her tears and like kind of sits up a little straighter. Leon, you've made a ton of decisions
For
without me and Ariadne that have impacted both me and Ariadne and the people that we love. We would like to make a decision that will impact you, and it will also impact the people that we love along with the people you love. But if we make this decision, well, the choice we made, we believe, could fix things. And Gris kind of like looks to Arya for support.
Yeah.
And you
I
heard about
go-
this from corruption.
We heard about.
I'm just making it clear who we heard it from.
As
And
if
I-
you're one to talk.
I
I
At
was like,
least
did
we
you-
have a healthier
Sorry.
fear of
I
corruption
know.
than you
What I'm
seem to.
saying-
And at least we talked about it.
I have
At the end of the day, Leon, who gave you the pearls?
Hmm?
At the end of the day, who gave you the
It
pearls?
was corruption.
Exactly.
Right.
So we're going to do a spell, and we're going to divide the power of the gods evenly
absolutely not.
amongst the 3 of us.
Absolutely
Leon, you cannot say absolutely not after all you
Absolutely,
put
I
us through.
can. 100% I can. I am not having you put the burden of God's souls.
It's
What do you
already
think
on
is
us?
going to happen? No, it is
Listen to me.
not.
It's already on us. Do you know why? Because we're tied up with you and you just
do
told
not
us as much.
know what is going to happen.
But
I
we
do
know
not
that
what is
Ariadne
going to
dies
happen.
in 2 weeks.
I know that I'm
and-
going to die
and we
because
also
of the
know
gods I've consumed. So why would I want that to happen to you?
It wouldn't. You would be splitting it. That is the point.
Right,
Is
so
that
then we'll all
of us
die?
have a chance to undo.
all I'm
of
saying
this.
is if I have a chance to give Ariadne even 3 more days of their life,
How do we know that that is going to do it?
we don't know. But nothing can
Exactly.
be worse than 2 weeks.
Actually, it could be. It could literally kill you both right now.
Well, I'm willing to take that chance.
You don't know.
And I don't
Why
think it
does-
will,
wait.
because you literally survived just fine with 2 gods in you, by the way.
Why does corruption want you to do this? What
Did I
harm
say
you?
corruption wants us to do it?
I mean, it's
No.
obvious. Why
All I-
else would corruption have sent me away?
She sent you away because you can't be trusted to not make decisions for all of us.
Also,
I'm not listen,
I don't really know if any of your decisions up to this point were really you, Leon.
corruption would like you to think that.
Yeah, well, I do think that, whether it's corruption or not. And Leon,
Okay.
I need you to do this, and if you don't agree to it, I'm pretty certain we can do this with you knocked out, Ari.
Oh, I'd like to see you try, Gris.
I'm like, you got the
If
pointy
we
end
need to- do you really want to do that?
to knock you out so that we can do this and potentially save you.
I put a
and
shoulder
ourselves?
on Gris. I put a shoulder on Gris
Are you that
and I
person?
just squeeze. And I'm like, she's not, but that's who you're making us be. And no, we're not doing that. I look at Gris and I'm like, not only do I not think it would work, but
I'd regret it.
you know what? Fine. You don't want to do it? That is your right.
No.
That is your right.
I'm not saying
But
no,
guess what?
Ari.
You know the consequences now, so make that choice.
I'm not saying no.
I'm giving you that choice for me. For me,
I
for Lily,
understand that.
for Gris.
What if we do this and then you drop dead?
We dropped
Then
in.
I'm no worse off than I would be in 2 weeks.
That's not true.
It is true.
Listen.
It is because everything that I have been ignoring is what's saying that it's true. It's Mung, and do you not trust Mung's word?
Not
Well, you also killed Mung, so I don't really care if you trust Mung's
kill
word.
Mung.
Everything you did, Leon, led to Mung dying.
Corruption killed Mung. You can't
No,
blame me for the
corruption
actions
did
of
not
another-
kill Mung. You consuming his god killed Mung.
Oh,
You
No,
you
Tafine dying killed Mung. She was dead before I consumed her pearl. I will not take the burden of his death. That is not
all I'm
something I
saying
did.
is we could have saved him had he
Maybe
not
not
gone
of
to another plane to take away the pearls from you,
Tafine
Leon.
had died.
It doesn't
No
matter.
matter what.
He exiled himself to another plane to save you.
And then he came back.
He didn't come back.
Yes,
He was
did.
stuck
He was
here.
haunting us. And do you think if my father had consumed that pearl that he would have let them go? I will take the credit for a lot of my stupid decisions, but I will not take the credit for things I did not do. And I did not kill Mung. You don't get to blame me for that.
Maybe not directly.
I have let you blame me for things that
You have not let
I
us
have not
blame you
done.
for anything, Leon.
everything.
We
Why
can't-
do you-
everything.
we can't blame you for things we don't know about. And
You
this
find
whole
out?
time, we haven't known about anything.
We have forgiven you for things.
How many
Have you-
time
We
again?
shouldn't
you
have.
thrown it in my
Because
face?
we love you,
Have
and
we
yet
thrown
you
it
don't
in your
seem willing to return
face?
that.
I am,
We literally
listen,
met you in a bar and have followed you since, Leon. We have been there to help you ever
we
since.
went to Hell's Portal for your husband as well.
And then we continued on
was not
because
just
you
for
think you
me.
need to defeat your father.
Do I think that, or is it necessary?
Is it necessary to consume 12 gods to defeat one man?
Are we? When he's consumed them, he's a god now. He's a god, Gris. This is not. This
I don't
is
want
not
to argue with you anymore, Leon.
games.
I
Like,
just want you to listen to us.
I am.
So then why won't you give us the opportunity to change Ari's fate?
The reason. Listen, I'm not saying no, but
Or Gris's, because it's not just me. You're letting Dreamer's Grove burn.
when is
might-
that happening?
When Monk read my tarot back at his tree, Dreamer's Grove was on fire.
But didn't he say something about your fate at that point, and yours looks fine?
It doesn't
Terrible things
matter
don't have
if
to
my
mean
village is on fire. If everything I love and care about is on fire, Leon. I have lived a good life.
Mm-hmm.
If I give up a long life to save Ariadne, who is one of my dearest friends,
Okay,
then it's
Gris,
worth it. If I
the
give up
opposite.
my life to save you,
Let's
Leon,
say the
from
opposite.
being an overlord, is it not worth it?
Won't you be the same thing as me?
Well,
No, we won't. We will be equals.
Right, but won't we all be the same? We'll all be gods. We all won't die. We're all going to suffer.
So then I will suffer.
You're thinking
If
of
my
it from
village
this, like, I'm
survives.
releasing Leon of this burden, but
We're not. It's not
taking
about
on a
releasing. It's not
burden.
even about releasing you of this burden. It's about not having one ourselves. You think doing this is what's going to burden us? Not doing us.
Yes,
Not doing it
exactly.
is.
Exactly.
Because not
Oh,
only would you
no.
be condemning us for however short of a life I have left, but you'd be, asking us to abandon you? Or worse, fight you if it came to it?
I would not do that.
Because
Leon, you almost
at
killed me
this
today.
point, your father is
You
still
almost
our
killed me
biggest
last
threat.
week.
But are you certain it'll stay that way?
I did not almost kill you, for the record. I may have hit you once.
And
when
hit
I
you
was-
once, so we're even.
Okay, when I was on the verge of death, Leon, after I had saved you from death of my own accord, when I had just saved Ari from death, like, why can you not trust us like we have trusted you?
Don't trust me, though. Clearly.
This entire time has been us following you
Ari.
and doing everything based on our trust and faith in you. Have some
am
faith in
not.
us.
I
go
am
ahead.
not the biggest threat.
You are if you have 12 gods inside of you.
But why do you think I'm the biggest threat?
Because you have 12 gods inside of you.
Okay. When did you start believing this?
When we went to the dream world and fought the 12 gods that are inside of you.
What about my father? So are we all conveniently forgetting about him because he?
Why can't 12 gods separated between 3 people still kill your father the way 12 gods in one person could kill your father?
Or would you rather us face him underprepared?
Because if Ari doesn't have the power, if Ari has no power, Ari will die. If I have no power, I will watch you die and be unable to heal either of you. And that is not a path to take, Leon.
I was gonna just handle my father myself.
That's what I'm saying. What if you go to handle your father yourself and die? Are 3 chances not better than 1?
Listen, I will...
Would you not armor your entire army versus just the one in the front?
I don't want you to have to do that. You keep saying...
You don't want us to have to do that, but we're here and we're doing it.
Chris? Listen, you keep saying that I'm following you. That you're, or rather the opposite. You're following me. We followed you to Hell's Portal. We followed you here. We followed you here. I'm trying to give you a chance to not have to.
We're saying that's not a chance. There's not a chance that it's not going to happen.
So which is it then? Are you going to make me feel bad for you following me? Or are we going to do this all together?
We're asking you to armor us so that we can help you and have the best chance of survival.
We are offering you our love and loyalty as we have since the very beginning.
I know.
We are taking the burden.
We are asking you to accept it.
I think our love languages are different. And Leon chuckles for the first time. Because I think what you don't understand is that what I'm doing is trying to stop. Listen, I will do this if you are sure, but I don't know. I don't know what this power means for me. I don't know what it meant with 1 or 2 gods. I don't know what it means with 12, and I don't know what it means with 4.
Neither do we, but we'd like a chance to find out.
Leon, do you remember?
I just want to make sure that you know.
I know.
I'm certain we've thought about this.
You remember that after we saved Marius, I apologized to you at your engagement party because I told you that I would have done the same thing. As much as we hemmed and hawed, and as much as I was against you stealing from a god, I admitted that I would do the same thing. In this case, Leon, if I were in your shoes, I'd do the same thing you're doing right now. But I am in my shoes, Ari is in their shoes, and you are in yours. Please let us all do the loving and caring thing for one another and give us the best opportunity to make it through this.
So if you were in my position and I was presenting you with this, what would you do?
I'd give the people I love the best chance to survive.
And what if you didn't know what your power did or what your power would do to them, and you are afraid that it would make it 100 times worse for your friends?
And it would be.
I trust them.
That would be a
to believe
hard
in
decision.
free will in a world that is telling them that their death is fated.
Give us the chance to change our own fates, Leon.
I don't know if it'll even work.
I know, but you changed yours, did you not? You changed Marius's.
I removed the moon from the sky, Gris, and I didn't realize I did it.
I know. And we don't know if this is gonna put 12 moons in the sky. But it's a chance.
Oh, it would be so bad.
The tides, they would be fucked up.
I mean, it would be bad, but it would also be kind of pretty, I think.
12 times the
except it would
werewolf.
be really, really bad.
I lean forward and I reach across the table and I put my hand in the very center, palm up, right? And I go, Leon, and I look in your eyes. If you love me, you won't make me live not having a choice anymore.
I don't want you to die.
Chris
Because I
puts-
gave you these powers. Ari.
Chris puts her hands in the center on top of Ari's and looks at Leon as well and says, the unknown is better than 2 weeks. The chance to fight is better than the unknown.
The chance to die fighting would be better than the unknown.
And Chris kind of chuckles and she's like, I prefer not to die fighting, but if I have to, yeah.
If I swear to God, and Leon puts her hand in theirs, if this causes my father to be in your heads, I'm not taking credit for it, and I'm not taking the fall.
It's okay, we'll talk about vials.
If it causes that, then we may just win, because I don't think he'll spend much time in mine and stay sane.
Oh, this could be a good plan, actually.
I think
I can and will drive him crazy.
for some reason. Maybe it's because I'm his daughter or whatever.
Maybe. Gris kind of
Okay,
squeezes.
fine. If I swear to God, if you both drop dead because I did this,
You can haunt us till
no,
forever.
I won't need to. I know necromancy spells. I will raise you.
Oh goodness.
Just
Just don't let
But
Twig
if you
eat
didn't
my
and
body.
I died anyways, I don't even think you or your father would be the biggest threat. I think it'd be, and I point back, I think it'd be Lily. You know, she's going pretty good. And I have faith in her.
are you sure you trust corruption?
I don't trust corruption one bit.
So why? Okay,
But I trust the decisions I make. And I trust you.
Can you
And I
trust that
Ari.
every sentence we exchanged was with distrust?
I can trust that. Actually, that much.
She called me frumpy, Leon.
That's
She
rude.
did call her.
Uh-huh.
She's
She
not
called
even
me
that
hot
cute.
stuff.
She did call you hot stuff.
She does that.
She started with darling, and then
Oh.
Ari said, no, please don't. And then
That's
it was
her
hot
go-to.
stuff.
Okay, well, I mean, if we're gonna do this, let's just do it before I change my mind.
That's the best thing you've said all day.
Gris reaches for the candle and then places it in between the three of them and then rips a portion of her sleeve and ties it around the candle.
Oh my God.
I do
Are
the
you-
same, and I just
You
shoot
are?
a look at Leon, and I'm like, I'm sorry, would you like scissors?
Yeah, you have to tear
actually,
part of your
I would.
clothes.
I would like scissors.
Maybe like an inside
I just give a
seam.
small facepalm and push myself away from the table and go to the kitchen and find just
You find a pair of kitchen shears.
Yeah.
You haven't really used them at all. Lily tends to cook for you, but they'll probably cut fabric. They're not that sharp, but they're not super dull.
Leon tucks her shirts into her travel leggings, and so she pulls her shirt out and just takes a little snip from the bottom that's always tucked into her leggings anyways. It's Raphael's gonna kill me. I won't need to die. Raphael will kill me.
Or Raphael will make you a really beautiful wedding dress.
Oh
I
my
think
God.
Raphael will understand. I can't
My
always
wedding.
tell whether he likes me, but I think he wouldn't want me to die.
Wait, would Marius want you all to? Would you both to do this?
Yeah.
Oh,
would
I'm
Reese
certain he
want you to
would
do this?
because he would never forgive me. Best elf? No, not anymore.
Is that what you're called? The best elf?
That's so precious.
That's really cute.
I'm his best elf. Am I not
I
his
really
best elf?
love him.
Leon,
I
am
love
I
him
not
a
his
lot.
best elf?
No, you
I'm really
really are.
concerned
I
about
just haven't
this.
heard him say best elf. I think
It's
that's
really
really
good.
cute. I
It's
haven't
really
seen him in
good.
a week. I
He's
really
like,
love
oh, you worried me. And here I was thinking I was going to have to face all of this, not knowing Maris thought I was his best
No,
elf.
no, you are. And I just had a moment where I just really missed him.
Well, then
Didn't
let's
get to
make
spend a
sure.
lot of time with him after he was better. I miss him a lot.
Let's make sure that you can get back to him.
Mhm.
I mean, I think I would have gotten back just fine.
Gris holds out
Yeah,
her
but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how the charred theme sort of fits into your wedding plans. That's all I mean. So,
what do you mean charred?
I mean, if things are going to be burning,
Yeah, things are going to be burning.
That's not the plan. That's never been the plan.
that's
I
the
know,
plan
that's-
we're trying
that
to
was-
change.
That's why we're trying to change it.
I just don't. Can corruption actually see the future?
I have
I
no
don't know
idea.
if that's true. I
have no
wouldn't
clue.
believe her on that.
Anyways, we're supposed to bleed on this candle.
Oh my god. Leon kind of like
What's a
tricks
little
her.
blood pact between friends?
Yeah, good. It's a blood pact. This is
Gris-
good.
What
This
did
is
you think it
fun.
was? It's binding spell.
I don't know. All
It's
right.
like you should know more about this than we do.
Yeah.
That's true.
Doesn't that say enough? I can't
Gris
believe we're
holds
doing
her
a spell
hand.
that a demon gave us. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh
The
wait, we've
second
already
spell
done
the
one,
demon
by
gave
the
us.
way.
My bad. The second one. Leon waits until they've put their blood on the candle.
Gris holds her hand out to Ari, waiting for them to like prick their finger with the dagger.
Sure. I just like go, I'm sorry. And prick her finger in like the gentlest manner.
Gris does a dramatic and then puts the blood on the candle.
I
And
do
then-
the same. I do the same. I was just like, I make a small cut on my palm or something, and
And now we have to light it and wait for it to burn all the way down.
Leon, does Leon still have the golden blood for golden causes dagger?
Yeah.
Isn't that apt? So Leon pulls out the golden blood for golden causes dagger and is like,
you still have that?
of course I still have it. I'm a very sentimental person. I also hold grudges. Just in case I ever see them again, even though they're dead. Leon pricks her finger. What color is her blood?
Baby, your blood is gold.
Yeah. Fully at this point?
Yeah.
Leon goes, don't.
I mean, this could be a golden cause.
Anyways, I just
Yes, I'm so sorry. You guys grab so many red herrings that when you finally like grab something that I'm trying to get you to grab at, it feels so fucking good. Oh, okay, sorry, go on.
Leon goes, before I do this, you're 100% sure you're
120%, honestly.
Ari?
I don't think that's how fractions work, but yes.
You're
Oh,
sure.
200%?
I don't
100
know
and
what's going to
100.
happen. I don't know.
I guess that does
what
make
you're going
200,
to
you're right.
It
feel.
makes 200.
Okay. You realize you're about to become
Just
God,
burn
right?
the thing, Leon.
You realize
yeah,
that?
maybe I'll become Sylvanas and I'll get some turtles. Be kind of cool.
Okay. Oh, okay.
As
And
long
Leon-
as it means I never have to study my own scrolls, I'm fine.
Oh, you just know everything.
No, that's not how that works.
Oh, okay.
Let me tell you, being God, you don't actually learn anything. You just feel things.
Well,
I
I
wish
like
I
to
had a
feel
guidebook.
things.
Not these things.
Hmm.
And Leon lets her blood drip onto the candle.
All right. You need to light the candle.
Gotta light it, Leon.
Leon lights it.
The candle burns very quickly. It burns bright. The wax melts around the fabric and sort of cases it in just sort of almost pure white wax. Your blood mixes in the center of the candle and sort of drips through in its own hole. And when it reaches the bottom, it releases this red and golden smoke. The smoke drifts upwards into each of your noses as you inhale. I'm going to read out some stat modifiers for you all. Leon, I'm so sorry. You already have your god stat modifiers. You don't get new ones. Ari,
Yes.
you are going to have +2 damage to all melee attacks,
Okay.
+1 to perception,
Mhm.
and +1 to charisma checks. Gris, you are gaining +2 damage to all leveled spells,
Okay.
Very nice.
and +2 healing to all leveled healing spells.
Hell yeah.
I would also like you to add +1 to your AC.
Thank you.
And that is specifically the turtle shell.
Oh,
I
Is
love
the name
it.
of that particular benefit.
you did it.
You get the feeling that these particular benefits are due to the gods that chose you.
Ah.
Gris, you also now have the favored terrain modifier that rangers get, specifically for the forest. which increases your movement speed when in the forest.
Wow. Oh,
I can
she's
zoom.
she's a track star.
Well, she can move at the same pace as a
That's
normal sized
zooming
person.
for Chris, okay?
Yeah, that's
Little legs gotta zoom.
The smoke clears and leave you all sitting at the table. The sun begins to rise outside. It still has its place in the heavens, but as it rises, Leon, you feel a warm feeling in your stomach. As you all look at each other, there is a knock at the door, and you hear a sweet, kind voice call out, Ariadne? I'd like to talk to you if you have a moment. We will be back next week. With more Tabletop Tavern, hopefully a little less group therapy.
Sorry for yelling at you, Leon.
Do you guys remember when Leon was a likable character?
Now she's just a
We'll be back next week, same time, same place. Until then, please drop your reactions in the Discord. I think this might have been like maybe the most intense session we've had yet.
I agree.
And please be sure to let the players know what a fabulous job role-playing they did. I was constantly on my fucking edge of my seat over here. We'll see you all next week. Thank you so much for your support.